Let's go back to some track and field. The ISSA Boys and Girls Athletics Championships that delivered its usual share of records, rivalries and standout performances in 2025. But as Christopher Scott reports, in our one-week countdown of the sports year in review, amid the excellence on display, a major controversy threatened to overshadow the meet as an alarming number of false starts that raised questions about equipment officiating and preparation.
Athletes arrived at last year's ISSA Boys and Girls Championships eager to showcase their talent on the biggest stage in schoolboy and schoolgirl athletics. But as they settled into their starting blocks, the focus quickly shifted from speed to starts, as false starts became an alarming and recurring talking point throughout the 5-day meet. More than 60 false starts were recorded, particularly in sprints, a figure that left coaches, athletes and spectators questioning what was going wrong. Meet Director of Champs Anthony Davis acknowledged that a combination of factors contributed to the unusually high number of infractions.
Start is really nothing new in track and field. At every level, you will have false starts. It may seem to the general public that it is more than normal because it's just in the 100 meters, and Champs is in such a way that the 100 meters are together, so the focus is there. But when we had discussions, like anything else, we look to see exactly what is happening, because we are aware that it could give the impression that something is off.
Davis also pointed out that school representatives were given prior instructions on the use of the starting equipment at the National Stadium ahead of the championships.
That people can see that they're off. And so if somebody is disqualified, you can say, oh, okay, that was the reaction time.
However, not all stakeholders were convinced. Corey Bennett, then head coach of Calabar High and Hydel High coach, placed much of the blame on what he described as unreliable equipment, while also expressing strong disappointment with the standard of officiating.
Making sense. I mean, when you look at the reaction times of many persons in the races, if you look at even the Class 2 boys 200-meter race today, many of those times were below the required time, the legal time according to them, and those boys never got a disqualification. Last year, yesterday in sprint hurdles, I think three of the top boys also had disqualification reaction times. So, the officer's equipment is garbage.
The controversy escalated to the point where Calabar High threatened to withdraw their athletes from the Saturday's last day of the championships. But cooler heads eventually prevailed, and the school went on to finish second overall behind Kingston College. Still, Bennett insisted that the issues experienced at Champs are avoidable and believes there's a clear path forward.
I think they need to get Bruce James' system, Rasta Sports, and run the thing properly, because what they have now is garbage. And until they do that, then I don't think I'm going to feel satisfied or comfortable with what they are doing.
As preparations continue for future stagings of the ISSA Boys and Girls Athletics Championships, officials, coaches and athletes will be hoping that lessons from last year's controversy lead to greater clarity and consistency at the start line, ensuring that performances, not technical issues, define the sport's biggest stage. Christopher Scott, TVJ Sports.